130th passing of my cousin, four times great-grand cousin, the great and honorable Frederick Augustus Washington Belly Douglas, the greatest black leader to walk American soil.
All right. Now, let's talk. Well, I don't know. I got so much to talk to you about.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
even know where to start. Let's start with what you say about mixed race. You say if your father is white and your mother's black, or if your mother's black and your father's white, you got to make a choice.
You got to make a choice. Through our history in America, 406 years under British North American control, if you had a non-black parent on the plantation, you were still black. They may have given you a mulatto designation. They may have given you an octoroon designation. They may have given you a quadroon designation. But if you had a black parent, you were black. Frederick Douglass, his mother was raped, okay? He had a white father, okay? He was still considered black. You know, there's so many people throughout our history who were mixed race. There's even a theory that the great Nat Turner, greatest black revolutionary of all time, that his father may have been white as a result of rape. Are we going to cast Nat Turner out? Of course not. But when you are mixed race, you're now given that option to decide whether you want to be black or not. Are you black or are you mixed race? Now, let me clarify, though. Okay. We know you're mixed race biologically. So nobody's asking you to disown your white mother or your white father. Biologically, you're mixed race. We're talking political identity. You can't be both politically, right? I can't be an Eagle and a Baltimore Raven. Are you with me? You got to choose a side. So we're saying that if you're mixed race, you must choose. Are you black full time or are you not? Because we need to know who's on our side.
Okay. And what do you think, especially, let's go start with the athletes. Are they choosing to be black or in the middle?
What I think a lot of the athletes are doing, and we're talking about black athletes here, athletes who identify as black, they're not happy with who they are as black men. So they're marrying outside of the race. They're procreating with non-black women intentionally to weaken their melanin. They don't want their children to look like them. Serena Williams didn't want her children to look like her. You know, Joel Embiid doesn't want his children to look like him. The self-hate and the disdain and the shame that we carry has led to a situation that when you have enough money to marry outside the race, many of us do just that so we can water down the DNA.
Now, what about somebody like Halle Berry, who looks beautiful? She should want her kids to look like her, so she said they wouldn't look like her if she married a black man, you think, or what?
Well, that was ridiculous. But Halle Berry, you know, she got a lot of mental things going on. But I feel for my sister, though, because what we have to realize, and this is another reason why we have to stop the interracial dating in the black community, as a psychologist, I've worked with tons of mixed race children through my 25 years, right? And a lot of them, they suffer because they never feel quite black enough. And they definitely will not be accepted by white folks. I remember dating a mixed race sister in the Garvey movement back home in Philadelphia. This is over 10 years ago. And I remember one day she told me about how she was treated by her white relatives, how they would buy gifts for Christmas for the white grandkids and not for the black ones, how they call her the N-word, talked about her nappy hair. And I've heard this from several mixed race Africans. They really catch hell. And that's a big reason why I go out of my way to let them know that if you identify full time, I accept you and treat you no differently than any other black person. But we have to recognize at the heart of this interracial dating scam is a agenda to strip the black community of its wealth by sending these snow bunnies in after our richest black men. And when a relationship doesn't work out, they leave with the bag. Look at Tiger Woods' ex-wife. She beat him for $1 billion. She was a housemaid, you know. She's a billionaire now. Right. We can't afford to be losing that type of wealth. Interracial marriage at the end of the day is economic betrayal.
Boy. Now, you say religion... people put religion, black people put
religion before race. And we're the only people who do that.
Before community.
And before community. We're the only people who do that.
Okay,
Arabs might be Muslim, but guess what? You're not, African-American Muslim does not matter more to them than their Arab community. You follow me?
Yeah.
Latino might be Christian, but an African-American Christian will not matter to them more than their Latino community. We are the only people who judge you by your religion before race, because one of the things that slavery effectively did to us psychologically is it took our culture and gave us religion. And we have been identifying with religion over culture since that time. We have to go back to being, as the Honorable Marcus Garvey said, race first. You don't have to hate nobody, but put the needs of your people first. Even Jesus, according to the Bible, was only sent to the house of Israel. Jesus wasn't sent to serve nobody else. His religion may have become universal, but if we study the teachings of the Bible was very much a race first book. The Bible says only go to the Israelites.
And you Asians, they're going to make sure Asians are taken care of.
Oh, they're going to make sure everybody taken care of.
Yeah.
And see, another reason why we keep on struggling, right? When you look at Cincinnati and you look at the poverty, you look at the gentrification in Cincinnati, and I don't know how y'all ended up without a black mayor, but that's another conversation. But when you look at the situation in Cincinnati, you know, a big reason why we're struggling is we won't finance ourselves. See, the Asian comes with a line of credit from Asia. The Indian comes with a line of credit from East India. We ain't going to get a line of credit. We have to be our line of credit. And as a $2 trillion people, we should be able to finance ourselves. Where's the black hospital in Cincinnati? Where's the black bank in Cincinnati? Where's the independent black schools in Cincinnati? And you do have a couple, right? Where's the independent black manufacturing and distribution sector? We have enough money in Cincinnati to do for ourselves, but we have been conditioned through slavery to depend on the government for what we need and use our money for what we want.
And we had a black bank, a couple of them, but they didn't make it.
Wow, well, we need to build them back up.
We got to take a break for news, and I want to ask you about the neo-Nazis making their presence
I
here
saw
in
that.
Cincinnati.
I saw that.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Dr. Umar Johnson is with us right here on 1230, The Buzz.
You know, that was my neighborhood.
Yeah, when it came to?
Lincoln Heights, when we went through, when I cut out.
Okay.
That's Lincoln Heights. That's where they were at.
Wow. Okay.
So what are you going to talk about tonight?
A little bit of everything.
Everything? Okay.
Because you never know what people need in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Just to catch everybody up, Aaron Mallard just walked in on this. My CEO, Grow Community.
Peace,
Like,
King.
you ain't
What's
never-
going on,
you ain't
man?
never
All
met
right,
Aaron,
all right.
but He's the CEO for Grow Community.
Okay.
So we the underlying sponsor.
Y'all based here in Chicago?
Chicago, headquarters Chicago.
Okay, but y'all have a base here?
Yeah, they have a base.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a base.
You're here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Yep. You want to take some calls?
Sure. Take some calls.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, so you know what Kobe Cove, man. Okay.
Yes, sir. I was actually on Power 99 a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
1230 WDBZ, the Buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station. Lincoln Ware with you till 1 o'clock. And then at 1 o'clock, Reverend Al Sharpton comes your way. We've got Dr. Umar Johnson in the studio with us. And I saw one of your cuts about you were getting a school built. And
Yes,
you had
sir.
black contractors and white
Yes, sir.
contractors. Man, when I heard that, I was like, man, that makes no sense at all. Tell us a little
Yes,
bit about
sir.
that.
The Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. That's my brainchild. That's in
Yeah.
Wilmington, Delaware. We didn't build it from the ground. We actually purchased a pre-existing charter school that lost its charter. It was a black charter in a black neighborhood. Wilmington, Delaware is about 70% black. Small city, about 30 minutes from Philadelphia. In renovating the school, we wanted to keep the money in the community because my donors gave us the money to make this happen.
Okay.
And using the black contractors, most of them ripped us off. They took money, didn't finish the jobs. The one who did finish the job, they didn't do it well. There hasn't been a single black contractor to date that has done what they were supposed to do for us. And so we had to turn to Caucasians to finish the work. And of course, the Caucasians overcharged us, but at least they finished the work. The black contractors overcharged us and didn't even finish. And I don't want to give a bad name to black contractors because I know there's good ones out there. There's good ones.
This a lot.
Yeah,
More than you
it's
need to hear
common.
about it.
It's
Yeah.
very common, and it's a shame. Because when I look at the fact that we need to build Black Wall Street, because as I said earlier, there's no city in Black America where we own our own bank, supermarket, hospital in the same place. You follow what I'm saying? There's no Black Wall Street in America today, although we love to rave about Black Wall Street. And I see one of the reasons why. Because the people you need to rely on to actually get the stuff built, they don't have the professionalism and the integrity to actually do what they're being asked to do. We care too much about money and not enough about each other.
Yeah, man. I know that had to be hard for you to
Oh, it
do.
was hard. It was hard. Because, with the Caucasians, they know who I am and they don't like me.
Right.
But they still do the job. And I got to put up with racism on a job, but it does get done. You know what I mean? And it's just a shame you can't depend on your own people. Now, we still have another school we got to do. The Frederick Douglass High School, which is right across the street. We have 2 schools. They look at each other. 4 buildings in total. And when it's time to renovate the high school, I'm going to try some more black contractors out because I don't want to quit on my people. But it's tough with our people, man, because and then we say black people don't support us. Customer service in black businesses has to be the worst for black people. You follow me? We do not treat black people well in our businesses. I don't care if you're going to a black restaurant, if you're going to a black dollar store. Black business owners feel like they're doing their black customers a favor. And if you want more of the black dollar, stop treating your customers like they're unwanted and start treating them like they're wanted.
Hey, I tell you, and boy, I hear this stuff all the time.
Yeah, it's sad. We got to do better with customer service.
Yeah.
We nasty, attitudes, we got to do better with customer service.
All right. Let's go to Al. Al, you have a question.
Respect, love, and blessings to you.
Yes, go ahead.
Peace, King. Yes, sir.
A couple questions. I respect your work and your passion for Black Pan-Africanism. And we do need to speak more about that. But as far as, you familiar with the scripture of Deuteronomy 28?
I'm not.
If you get a chance before, you meet tonight with your with the group, if you can just either listen or read Deuteronomy 28, and what's in Deuteronomy 28 is what we as black folks all around the globe is going through. This is the reason why we're going through it. You can call it a curse. That's what it's called. Or you can call it a spell.
Self-imposed curse.
It's a self-imposed curse because we forgot, like you're saying, who we are.
Yes, sir.
And the real creator of all things in which we serve.
Mm-hmm.
And in which we are supposed to go back to.
And where are you going with this, Al?
This is where I'm going with it. It's twofold. There's a Dr. Kidd who heads Yale University's DNA program or whatever. He has a patented book that him and a bunch of doctors put together that states that there's a group of Africans that carry a 9-series DNA series in their DNA. And that's the most on the planet. Everybody else has 6. 6 and below. With the white man and the animal.
Okay.
But this is where I'm going.
Well, get there, because I got to move on.
I understand. But what I'm saying is, with this DNA and with the understanding that there is a creator of all things in which we can go back to collectively, and he will answer the prayers before we're destroyed, because I don't know if you're familiar with the Jewish people are doing. The red heifer, they're about to sacrifice it, trying to impose the coming of the third temple for Christ, Jesus, to come back. Now, that's a whole thing in itself, but if we don't collectively come together under one, aside from any practice or thoughts that the white man has put into our heads, programmed into us, we'll make it.
All right. Al, thanks for your call.
I'm going to say this in response, and thank you for that, Brother Al. I very much believe in prayer. Not a day goes by when I engage in it. As African people, our spiritual constitution requires that we pray. But I think that sometimes we over-depend on God and not enough for ourselves. In my opinion, the science of prayer dictates that you pray for what you can't do yourself. I see black people praying for things that we can do ourselves. And that's why we don't get any help from God, because it's not God's problem, it's yours. For example, we're praying for better schools. Why is the $2 trillion people praying for better schools? You can build them. You understand? We're praying for an end to crime. Why are we praying for an end to crime when we have enough money to build our own businesses and economics so we can stop young people from killing and robbing, because we can give them jobs and opportunities? So I think a big reason why black people continue to suffer is we keep on making God the scapegoat for responsibilities that are our own and for solutions that we can implement ourselves.
All right. Let's move along. I want to talk Elon Musk and
I hate
South
him.
Africa.
Complete hypocrite.
Yeah.
He's talking about the free world. Elon Musk is running around. Elon Musk rat is talking about the free world. And here you are, the recipient of monies of your father that he made through apartheid in mines in South Africa. And then right now you have black children in the Democratic Republic of the Congo who are child slaves being forced to work to mine minerals for Tesla automobiles. How big of a hypocrite can you be? And Elon Musk and Donald Trump are running around trying to intimidate our South African brothers and sisters for forcibly taking back land that was stolen from them by the British and the Dutch, and they're confiscating the land. And Donald Trump is trying to issue some kind of sanctions against South Africa if it doesn't stop. But you're not issuing any sanctions against Tesla Motors or Bill Gates for depending on minerals that are mined by black children, child slaves in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which happens to be the worst humanitarian crisis in the world, not Gaza. Congo. Don't talk to me about another people's humanitarian crisis. Talk to me about Congo. Talk to me about Haiti. Talk to me about Somalia. Talk to me about Ethiopia. I want what's best for the Arabic peoples in Gaza, but I don't cry tears for nobody until I cry for myself.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, he's holding back money to South Africa because they're taking back land
that belongs to them. That's because in white power consciousness, they have statute of limitations on their crimes. This is why white people will tell us, don't bring up slavery. Slavery was long ago. It's okay for the European Jews to keep talking about the Holocaust, but it's not okay for you to talk about slavery no more because they have imposed statute of limitations on their crimes. But when people do something to them, they never impose statute of limitations on what people owe them. But when it comes to other people, after a certain amount of time, you're supposed to forget we did this to you.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it continues too. Now he's starting to hurt the black folks in America. You know.
Oh, yes, sir.
For Medicare, Medicaid.
Yes, sir. But Baba, we got to be honest about something. Yeah. We keep allowing ourselves to be used as a political football by this Republican Democratic Party establishment. Because when it comes to black people, there's only one party, and that's the white party. Neither party cares about us. Kamala Harris had nothing on the table that was going to work. Donald Trump had nothing on the table that was going. Oh, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I want
why?
Because she had nothing on the table. We have 5 major problems in black America: miseducation, mass incarceration, gentrification and homelessness, police genocide, access to wealth. What plan did she have for any of those? What plan did Donald Trump have for any of those? If you don't attack that 5-headed dragon, then you're not dealing with black people's issues.
Some people said the reason why you didn't vote for her because she was married to a white guy. Is that true?
Well, I didn't vote for her because she didn't have a program for blacks.
Okay.
Now, her marrying to a white guy is her business because Kamala Harris is not a black woman. She's a South Indian.
Yeah. Okay. Now, speaking of marriage, the rumor is that you had 2 wives.
No. I'm going to have 2 wives, but I don't have 2 wives. I've never been married.
Okay.
What they're talking about, Baba, is in 2021 and 2022, at the FDMG Academy in Wilmington, we had a street festival, FDMG Family Festival outside. Okay. There's a fashion show to end the festival. Okay. To end the fashion show, there's a wedding scene in the fashion show. Okay. I wore the tuxedo, and I got married to 2 women figuratively in the fashion show. There was no real wedding.
But you do plan on having 2 wives.
Yes. Okay. But here's what upset me about that. Black Enterprise and BET and all these major black media outlets, don't you know they did stories on me marrying 2 women as if I really married 2 women. Right. But they never did a story on me saving children from the school to prison pipeline. They never did a story on me crushing the ADHD agenda. They don't talk about when I do good. They only want to talk about nonsense like fake marriages at a fashion show.
It makes for good
the black media got to do better.
Dr. Umar Johnson married 2 women, but you do say you will marry 2
I'm going to have 2 queens.
Why is that? Why?
Because my responsibility to African people globally dictates that there be enough hands on deck to get the work done. Okay. It ain't about romance. It's about revolution. Yeah. I am consciousness over the cookies, politics over the punani, revolution over romance, and institutions before intimacy. Get the work done. The cookies will be there when you're done.
There you go. All right. My man. Let's go to Joan. Joan, how are you?
I'm good. The question to your guest, when you mentioned about being ripped off on your project, did you hire a GC?
For our small school, we didn't need one because we just needed systems that had to be repaired. But I did have GCs on deck. So, yes, I did have people who were GCs, who helped me find the contractors and so forth. And they, too, took issue with the way in which the situation was being handled. So to answer your question, yes.
Okay, so when you paid these individuals, did they do the work? You know, when you hire someone, you don't pay them up front. I mean, you make
Well, you have to get
amount.
you got to give them a deposit so they can get materials and things like that.
Yeah,
And when you're dealing with
when I
corporate,
do jobs, I don't always get, money for material, whatever.
are you talking commercial work?
Both.
Okay.
What I'm saying is this, and it depends on the contractor, all right? But you don't just put that money up front. You may give them a deposit, but they need to move that job along before you pay them.
I agree with you. We're talking about deposits. And with commercial renovations, those deposits were kind of sizable. Even if you're talking 20%, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars for some of the stuff we had to get done. Bottom line is they didn't do the job that they were paid to. The good news is we didn't have to pay it all. So to your point, we didn't have to pay it all. But nonetheless, we don't like wasting any of the people's money. And it just
So
would
you
have
were
been
able to get your money back from them?
not all of it. No, ma'am.
Okay. So but you were able to get some of it. Were you able to sue to get your money back?
I don't want to go too much into detail. I think we're getting too technical here. Just know that we're on target to open up the school soon. But to answer your...
I'm just saying, when you do, don't, I know you say you're not going to just dump on all black contractors.
Correct.
All black contractors don't handle their business.
There's some good ones out there. The problem with us, Queen, the problem with us is Delaware is the second smallest state in the country. And in Wilmington, Delaware, you have to be licensed in the state of Delaware and the city in order to do work. So although we have the perfect situation, it might be in the most imperfect location, if that makes sense to you.
Well, it does. But, you still got to cover your back, and you got to make sure who you're hiring is going to do that work.
Well, there's no way to know until you put them to the test. There's no way to know until you put them to the test. And everybody we used came highly recommended, by the way. We didn't just take people because we met them. Everybody we used came highly recommended, and they did not do the job well, if they did it at all.
So they may have been recommended, but did you do your own?
I'm going to be done on that point, my sister. I think I dealt with that enough. They got paid, they didn't do the work, and so we had to move on.
She just goes into.
I love you, my queen. Black queens forever, snow bunnies never.
All right. I want to thank Sister B and Linda Matthews for setting up this interview and the Grove community. Tell us a little bit about tonight.
So I'll let Aaron touch on the discussion about tonight, the panel discussion.
Yeah, so Grove Community, we're a community mental health center based in Chicago, but serving families in Cincinnati. And really just talking about black family. Like, how do we address the issues in our community? And we know at the core of it, we have to address the challenges in the family. We think back to 1965, 25% of our black families were in a single-parent household. We talk about today is 65%. So it's a crazy increase when we talk about the dynamics within the black family of what we need to do to figure out how to help our families heal. We have moms who are single parents of sons, and they stress, they're overwhelmed, they're dealing with their own trauma. So if we could come up with a solution around the challenges of trauma, the challenges of what's going on in the households, I feel like we can address a lot of the key things that we're dealing with. When we talk about economics, right, if we get the family to be strong, that's how we address economics. So Dr. Umar going to bless us this evening and really give us some nuggets to think about, how do we strengthen the family? How do we think about the solutions to strengthen the family? But I want to pose a quick question or go back to something. So Grow Community, we're a black-owned company, over 100 employees, African-American, 95%, right? And so, Dr. Umar, my question to you is, you made a good point. Like, when we talk about the challenges around black businesses, whether that's the quality, the customer service, psychologically, what needs to be done to shift the thought process of our black entrepreneurs? How do we challenge them, make them think differently? What are the solutions to address this? Because we'll never get out this challenge we in if we don't address black economics, right? Black entrepreneurs are operating at a high level where, oftentimes though people like, I'd rather go to the white, I'd rather go to Hispanic because of everything we just said. But psychologically, what do we need to do to change the mindset of our entrepreneurs?
That's a great question, Brother Aaron. And it's ironic because when we talk about the last election, the concept of identity politics was discussed a lot. A lot of people felt that black people were expected to vote for Kamala just because they thought she was black, right? We need to start practicing identity politics when it comes to how we spend our money. We will practice identity politics at the voting booth, but we won't practice identity politics at the shopping mall. If there's anywhere identity politics needs to be used, It's when it comes to our economics. Practice identity politics with your bank, with your grocer, with your hairdresser, with your barber, with who you get your shoes from, your clothes, your basic needs. We don't do that. And I think in order to change that is you have to restructure the priorities in the black community, and you have to restructure the priority of identity in the black community. Most of us identify as Muslims and Christians. We don't identify as black people. So we don't feel guilty when we spend our money with a non-black person because on the surface, I'm a Christian. And as a good Christian, I can buy from any Christian. I'm a Muslim. And as a good Muslim, I could buy from any Muslim. Now, he might be an Arab that does nothing for my community, but he's a Muslim. You see that? And that's why we got to stop putting religion over race. And in order for us to go back to a cultural imperative that dictates the way we act and shop, we're going to have to start raising our kids with a black consciousness. We raise our kids with a religious consciousness. We don't raise our children with a black consciousness. So until we get the black consciousness, nothing is going to change.
Now, why do you think we're seeing so many 12, 13, 14-year-old kids out there shooting with guns? Why is that happening all of a sudden?
Because psychologically, problems only get worse if they are unaddressed. Black America has this thing that if we just ignore it, if we just forget about it, it's going to get better. No, it gets worse. Before the shooters was in their 30s. Then the shooters came in their 20s. Then the shooters was 17 and 18. Now the shooters are 12 and 13. You know why? Because they're desperate. And we've gotten to a point now where these children are the grandchildren of those who were the victims of the crack era. These are the grand and great-grandchildren of the crack era situation. So these are children who never known love. These are children who never been properly cared for. These are children who never been taught the value of education. These are children who grew up watching their uncles go to jail. These are children who grew up watching their mothers date the drug dealers. So they have no moral imperative. They have no set of cultural ethics that they live by. They are a lost generation, and they are lost because we gave up on them. The children are nothing but a print out of what the people think about them. If the children are shooting up, it's because we are not in their lives. Black America collectively is guilty of child neglect. We have neglected our children. We have pursued career and money at the expense of community. And then we scapegoat the single black mother. We love to scapegoat the single black mother. Everybody blames the single black mother for why they don't graduate. The single black mother, he don't go to school. Single black mother, he's in a gang. Single black mother, he's in jail. We never talk about what the black church don't do for black children. We never talk about what black politicians don't do for black children. We never talk about what black fraternities, sororities, and Masonic lodges don't do for black children. We don't talk about what black leaders don't do for black children. And we don't talk about what black business people don't do for black children. Communities are saved by communities, not single black mothers.
Right, but can you touch on the media aspect of this? Because I don't want to not tippy-toe around it. Because when we talk about the impact of drill music, if you keep listening to the same thing, it reinforces behavior. Even from the psychological perspective, right? And so there are elements that normalizes this behavior, right? And so if it's normal to carry a gun, if you're scared in the community you live with, but if you keep listening to the same messaging over and over and over again, this stuff becomes normal.
Absolutely.
How do we also
it's
touch on that? Because nobody want to talk about that aspect, though, but that's a huge component of having an impact on why young people feel the need to carry guns. They think it's cool, it's trendy.
I agree.
Now it's just hot to carry a gun, for a young person. So can you kind of touch on that part too?
I agree with you. I'm going to dare say though that the hip hop music content crisis is a symptom, not a core problem. Gangster rap never comes into existence if black men were involved in the lives of black boys. Let me say that again. There is no gangster rap if black men are involved in the lives of black boys. So the gangster rap is a symptom. It's not a core problem. The core problem is black professional men have abandoned black boys in the black communities. Think about it. How many black principals you know still live in the black community? How many doctors, how many lawyers, how many engineers, how many business owners? Most of us, once we get a good enough job or our second master's degree, we move to a white suburb. The black men who should be serving as role models are no longer there. Lil Wayne never becomes a role model. Lil Wayne never becomes a role model, and no disrespect to him, right? LeBron James, no disrespect. He never becomes the role model if the doctor, the lawyer, and the dentist never abandon the black community. Black men are the reason black boys' pants are sagging. Black men are the reason black boys want to be gangsters because we checked out of their lives.
And I want to ask you about your schools.
Yes, sir.
Who teaches you have more female teachers? Or
Well,
more
we're not
male
open
teachers?
yet. Remember,
Okay.
we're just renovating.
Okay.
But when we do open, we plan on having a balance.
Okay.
We won't be exclusively male, and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to have children who never had a mother.
Yeah.
See, most of the time we think of absenteeism as the father. But guess what? The mother. Because who's the fastest growing prison population in America? Black women. So you have a lot of boys who never been loved on by their mother. So they're going to need female teachers to nurture them, because if they don't get nurtured, you know what's going to happen? They're going to grow up and take out all that pain they have of the absentee mother, that abandonment. They're going to take it out on their women. And that's a big reason why we have so much domestic abuse, domestic violence in the black community, because you got these black men who don't feel it's masculine to talk to somebody about their problems, and they're going home beating and killing the only person who unqualifiedly loves them, and that's the woman.
Let's take a break, and then we'll come back and wrap things up. Dr.
All
Umar
right, all right.
Johnson
Yes, sir.
is in the studio with us, 12:30, The Buzz. All right.
Do you feel like, though,
So
like,
we'll go to you
when I think about the media, we don't own the media, we don't control the media.
Right.
The messages that are consistently being perpetuated, we don't control that, but that's $1 billion industry for a reason.
True that. But we need our own black media.
I agree 100%.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Divest out of this and create your own.
But how do we do that, though? You know what I'm saying? Because I think at the end of the day, like, I agree, but we're like talking about this idea, but nothing has manifested today. And I think we're going to keep, like, media is the key, I think, to change all of this, because at the end of the day, that changes the mindset, it changes the thought process. But like I said, like you just said, we don't control it. How do we create something like that? How do we get to that point? You know what I'm saying? How do we get people collectively to come together and say, hey, we create our own media? You know what I'm saying?
And you have a lot of black media. You got your Oprah, you got your Tyler, you got black media, you got your Tom Joyner, you got black media. But their content
It's not what
isn't
we
culturally
need to change our
affirmative. Yes,
mindset.
yes.
It's not. That's not what's needed to get us to another level.
And that's due to the advertisers and stuff. You know, they got the content, like you said.
Right, but they should not be dependent
Yeah.
on white advertisers
Yeah.
with the type of money we got.
So then, how
It's
do we?
insane.
But then, how do
But
we
they
position
have to.
black businesses to then say, "Hey, we're gonna only advertise here," so that now our media is now funding these businesses, getting them out here. So it's
You're
it's
going
a
to have
circle.
to build.
It's a system.
I got you. You're going to have to build grassroots black banks so everybody's capital is in that bank, so we don't have to depend on nobody else for advertising. We get it straight from our people. Long story short, and of course you already know this, until black people unite their dollar, we don't get black power. There's no way around it. Until you put all black money in that same holding institution so we can all access it for what we need, we don't win.
Yeah.
Everybody else got their own funding. Everybody else got their own funding. The Chinese got their own banks. The Arabs got their own. Everybody but us. Until we divest from the white power structure and build our own, we can't win.
And even with them, with the advertisers, they only have a little small portion of money they're going to get of the black media.
Yes.
That's why they, McDonald's being sued for $10 billion
Look,
now.
I'll give you an example. I go in a Breakfast Club, right? I have some of the highest views in Breakfast Club, right? And I'm not an entertainer. But the Breakfast Club only bring me on once a year. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm good for views. I'm horrible for their advertising.
Yeah.
They white, you feel me? They white spot don't want
Right. Yeah.
they commercial played on Dr. Umar Snow Bunny message. You feel me?
Right.
So for the views, yes.
Right.
But our advertisers,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. Yeah.
But then again, and my bad, I ain't trying to be redundant, but the mindset of even us pulling our money together, like I feel like at the end of the day, until we change the mindset, we're not gonna want to pull our money
completely
together.
agree.
But
I completely agree.
one is, how do we, like, what created this mindset and how do we get out of it? Because until we do that,
Public
like,
school and black church.
say more.
Public school and black church. Until the black church becomes a conscientious contributor to the reconstruction of the black community, we don't win, because most of our people are religiously dependent. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
As long as the church is the center of black life, if it doesn't care about the black community, we won't move. And as long as our children are being taught by white women, take Cincinnati. 70% of y'all teachers are white, but 60% of the students are black.
Right.
How in the hell are you going to reconstruct the thinking of black children when the same people who put them in the ghetto responsible for getting them out?
Yeah.
You don't win with white teachers. You don't win. But nobody wants to have that conversation because we're supposed to live in a post-colorist society. Bull crap. Most white kids will never have a black teacher.
No.
Most black kids will never have a black one either.
Yeah. That's true.
It's on us to build institutions. Black people don't want no responsibility for solving their own problems. We want none. We want to give it to government. We want to give it to God. And it ain't easy to build no institutions. I look at the hell we going through without school. But it's the only way to do it. We need our own infrastructure. You saw it with COVID. Look how we suffered under COVID. We didn't have nothing. We had no food, no water, no.
Yeah.
you got to get the churches, or you have to give black people something that is so attractive that they don't need to go to church no more.
You need church, but
you don't need church. You need a relationship with the Almighty.
Yes.
You don't need church.
Relationship.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk Station, and want to talk a little bit about the
Frederick Douglass Foundation of Ohio. Thanks for having us.
yes,
Megan,
Frederick Douglass Foundation.
Frederick Douglass Foundation of Ohio, and we're going to be going live tonight at Woodlawn Recreation Center. As you see, we having a thought-provoking conversation right now, and we would love for you all to drop by. They're having a Black Wall Street, so it's going to be vendors. It's going to be everything there. So I would suggest you all be there around 5 o'clock, Woodlawn Rec Center, and we appreciate you for having us, Lincoln. Dr. Umar is hot. He's hot. And Aaron is hot. Go ahead, Dr. Umar.
Question with the Black Wall Street, because you said vendors.
Yep.
Because the event itself is sold out, but can people still come and support the vendors?
People can still come and patronize the vendors.
Okay, so y'all heard that. Come out anyway today. Go ahead. I'm sorry,
the
bro.
tickets was only specific to get into the auditorium.
Right.
But if you want to stop by and patronize some of those businesses, I know Dr. Umar is going to have books for sale.
Yes, sir.
Please come and stop by. Grow Community is going to be handing out free T-shirts. We want everybody to come show your smiling faces, and we're going to have some thought-provoking conversation tonight.
All right, I want to thank Act One Transportation Services for bringing them over here. Robbie Thompson, thank you. And Sister V, Linda Matthews, for setting up the interview. And got a whole lot of people to thank you. Off air, I was asking you about your school. When you open your school,
Yes, sir.
Where are you going to get teachers?
Well, we have 5,000 resumes.
Really?
We have 5,000. So we're going to have to go through them, sort them. There's probably going to be about 3 or 4 rounds of interviews. The first couple will be virtual. The last 2 will be in person. Because we need a certain type of mindset we're looking for. We're trying to reconstruct the consciousness of Black America. So you can't come in here with a white Jesus. You can't come in here with a white wife. You understand? We're looking for a certain type of an African to work at our school. You can't come in here with fake hair. My teachers must have their own natural hair. You cannot work at my school. This is an unapologetically African. You damn right. If I can't grab it, you can't have it. Black power. Black power. I want black power. I want black power, brothers and sisters. From the cradle to the grave. I said Huey Newton. I said Marcus Garvey. I said Medgar Evers. I said Dr. King. I said Nat Turner. I said John Jacques Dessalines. I want black power.
If you can't grab it.
If I can't grab it, you can't have it. Happy to be nappy. All natural.
All right.
All
Let's
natural.
see.
You
I got
heard.
time for one more call before I have to let you guys go. Lindsay. Lindsay is an old OG, been to jail, and he's lived through it all. Lindsay.
Hey, Dr. Umar, I got one question to ask you, good brother.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about Black exploitation today through the media? What do you think that is killing our community? And that is my question.
Be more specific. When you say Black exploitation to the media, through the media, give me an example. That's a broad.
Like glorifying the negativity, that negative behavior, such as us. It's cool to kill a black man on TV. You don't see Jews killing Jews. I'm a product of Raymond St. Jacques and Roger Mosley's in the 60s and the early 70s when I went to Muffatni Institute to be an actor. They taught us about role playing. Hollywood only gives dark-skinned people negative roles, light-skinned black servant roles. We never had positive roles. So today, they glorify that behavior by letting the little drill rappers get millions of dollars exploited on a nonsense of media such as YouTube and TikTok and all this killing going on in our youth. And I say today, all our youth in the low-income neighborhoods just want to grow up to kill each other. So it's promoted through the media.
I follow.
I just want to know how you feel about that.
I follow you.
It's an issue with me.
All right.
And I agree with you, Baba. But again, I think that's a symptom, not a core problem. Because if we had control over our children, if we raised them and if we taught them right, if we made them responsible, they never go to the white music company and get a contract to make self-destructive music in the first place. So I think that goes back to the community, not properly raising our children, not giving them a cultural ethic to live by, and giving them the freedom to go outside the community and betray it. No other group of youth is allowed to go outside their community and betray it. You don't see that in Chinese, Arabs. Only black children are allowed to go outside their community and betray it. We got to understand something about us, and we don't want to admit it. In the post-Dr. King era, 57 years it's been, we have become a population of idol worshipers. Most black people think they believe in Jesus and Muhammad. No, you don't. You believe in money and materialism. You worship Air Jordans. You worship blonde hair. You worship white women. You worship expensive cars. We don't believe in God. We believe in money and materialism. And just like the Bible and the Quran and the Torah teaches you, idol worshipers will be punished, and we're being punished for it. So until we give up our idol worship of white man-made consumer goods and white man-made money, we will never get free. You got the freedom of mind, and everything else will follow. It's up to us to free ourselves. Nobody's coming for black people, not even Jesus.
On that note, thank you, Dr. Umar Johnson, for coming. You keeping it real, let me tell you.
Black power. Tonight, Woodlawn Recreation Center, we got the Black Vendor Market in the name of the Honorable Frederick Douglass. It's free and open to the public. Come on out, support the black vendors, because there could be no black power without the black dollar. But please, 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 in the name of Black History Month, leave your snow bunnies at home.
Oh boy, let's take a break. 12:30.
Black power. What's these right here, Baba?
You can take that. Black History cards. I had a guest yesterday, and they're like.
What's your only set? I want to take your only set.
No, I got another set.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, you can have
Appreciate that. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Sure, we can do the photo.
Yeah.
You want to do it on the backdrop or out there?
Mine is kind of horrible in here.
Okay, let's take it out. It's up to you, my queen.
That's the only reason I asked.
All right.